Today we are approaching building the counter timbers at the stern, and like most of these pieces, having read the book at least twice, struggling to understand exactly what is meant. So the best way to do that, having read it, is to just jump in. The first problem we encountered is to work on the back of the boat. We have to take away the back support, and of course when we take it away it becomes relatively unstable. So we use this little jig with a square to secure the model so we don't have any movement. Next, following the instruction of the book, we've put the alignment lines which give us 12 foot 3 inches. My first approach to try and align these pieces, which are really just hanging off the stern, was to build this elaborate jig to try and get to the center point that is identified in the book. That didn't go really well, although it did do what it was meant to do. And then after I thought about it, I said, really, I have lots of scrap. Maybe I just make a jig as I've done in the past. The spacing to align yourself with the top is 12 foot 3 inches. So we're going to cut a piece of plywood 12 foot 3 inches, make a stand on it, align it to the exact top of the mylar plan. And this is the card we've made up. Very similar to the one we made before, except specifically to the dimensions as specified in the book. Now we've gone to the plan, made up a paper template, and we've cut out 2 of these. I really find this diagram helps explain the shape that we're going to build best. And to help with this, what I did is I actually photocopied this, made a template, and stuck it onto the piece and used this to determine the various thicknesses. Because it's very hard to put a 4.5 inch mark on the piece of wood. This is the template that I cut out that I will stick on the piece that really will help with the final shaping. My present arrived from Lee Valley yesterday, and they will be very happy that I now have nice sharp chisels to do this work going forward. We've pinned them together as we've been doing with all the parts, and we're just cleaning them up now. So they didn't come out too bad. Again, using my technique of pinning, that each one is identical, helps eliminate the probability of having the left side and the right side different. We have put the first one in, aligned it at the edge here, aligned it up here, and I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy to put this one in place. That's because I feel it needs the added strength. And then we're going to take the second one and do the exact same thing on this side using the alignment card. So it lines up right on the middle of the piece. And now we're going to do the other side, the port side. We've mixed up a small batch of 5-minute epoxy, pre-drilled and pinned, and now we're lining it up. Every now and again I forget why I'm making these videos, and then the reality of it comes through. When I was first reading of how to do this, it seemed so difficult, and once you do it, it seems so easy. I suppose it's just the act of having to carve three-dimensional pieces that really intimidate you. And the process that Greg and David have laid out is really fantastic, and the work that they did in preparing this practicum really is the best that I've come across. And I want to thank them for taking the time to do it. And then of course I just wish somebody else had done the video and I would be able to use the video. So I hope you find it useful, because that's the real reason I'm doing the videos. Today we are going to put the stern window, or stern light as it's correctly referred to. And to do that we have cut the number 1 aft cant frame down to the correct height, which we established off the building board. And now we're going to struggle to try and get the window in correctly. To do this accurately, we made up a little cardboard template which establishes the finished height of the sill and the angle at which the frame on the side of the window needs to follow. I looked at various other methods, but this really was the easiest way to do this. This is a pretty good detail of what we have to do for the aft window. The instructions are fairly clear in the book as to exactly how to make up these frames. I had forgotten that I had this Microlux little saw. It's like a saber saw. It's much more gentle on the model than the Proxon jigsaw. And just changed the blades and refreshed it, and really super little tool. To frame both the top and bottom windows, we've made up some stock. The bottom window is made up of 5-inch stock, and the top we're using 3 inches. All of this stock should be much wider than you need because you're going to sand it down, and because most of the windows have some level of shape either on the sides or up and down, you need to build in some flexibility in the size of the pieces. A knife is the only way you can get a really accurate line. Now we use this triangular file to really clean up the joint. Make sure we have a nice clean joint. We've stuck it on and we've wiped off all the excess glue on the inside. We're using PVA so that we can in fact easily unstick it if we're unhappy with it. After a lot of adjusting, we've finally got to where it'll fit. There's lots of space on the side to sand. We've added the piece above the window and the piece at the back. These are all from scrap. And now we move to the port side. We have the last filler piece in the stern on the port side. Today is the cleanup day. So we have a lot of tools here, not necessary because we're going to use all of them, but that we want them all available. First, the dust mask, the Dremel with the drum sander, which takes a lot of the bulk stuff down. And I have this, which is very useful for getting inside, the disc sander and the little Microlux saber saw. But more importantly, on the other side, as it starts getting down closer, we'll go to all the sanding, hand sanding tools, a flat, a round, these little ones that I got years ago, a file, and not to be forgotten, my nice sharp chisels. We can compare the starboard side with the port side and see we still have a fair amount of work to do, but what a difference between the two sides. It's been a fun, messy day. We are 98% complete. I'll do a little more cleanup, and pretty happy with how it came out. There are some flaws. Those of you who are smart enough to pick them up will do so. But that's the total amount of cleanup I'm going to do, with the exception of establishing the line at the top of the frames.